Heaven has a ruler without wings. The Loong, sometimes spelled Loong, is the ultimate symbol of power, weather, and prosperity in Chinese culture. A central mythical figure in Chinese culture and folklore, representing wisdom, strength, and good fortune, in contrast to Western dragons, which are seen as fearsome beasts. In texts such as the Shanhai Zhong and classical chronicles, the dragon appears as the Lord of the Winds. The dragon dance is very common at New Year's, and dragon boats are used during the Duanwu festival, an annual celebration. It is one of the 12 in the Chinese zodiac. The year of the dragon comes every 12 years and symbolizes energy, ambition, and transformation, being a period associated with great achievements and challenges. In Chinese superstition, 9 is the number of power. See the 9 dragon walls in palaces. To understand the Loong is to understand authority and nature, useful for reading symbols in art, markings, and rituals. And if the dragon rules the sky, who is its imperial partner? It's Fenghuang. Next stop. The throne has a calm fire partner. Fenghuang, often called the Chinese phoenix, is the dragon's counterpart, yin-yang balance, and the emblem of the empress. The dragon symbolizes the emperor, and Fenghuang, the empress. Together, they signify marriage and royal harmony. The bird combines 5 virtues and 5 colors linked to the 5 elements, a classic idea of just government. Its appearance was considered a sign of peace and prosperity in the world. If a phoenix were seen, it indicated a just and corruption-free government and a home with loyal and honest people. In Eastern culture, wedding embroidery bears the symbol Long Feng Cheng Xiang, dragon and phoenix bringing good fortune. What almost no one knows is that it is the Western phoenix that rises from the ashes. The Fenghuang is a sign of peace and virtue that appears in a well-governed kingdom. Why does it matter? You start reading weddings, palaces, and brands and identifying messages of harmony without anyone explaining them. And if the bird announces good government, the next one personifies it. This, the Qilin. When virtue arrives, the hooves make no sound. The Qilin is a legendary chimerical creature from Chinese mythology, symbolizing good omens, and found in East Asia. Described as a being with a single horn, the body of a deer, and the hooves of a horse, the Qilin is the omen of virtuous rule. The Chinese unicorn appears when righteous kings rule, often mentioned in ancient classics and legends of the Zhou dynasty. In tradition, it foretold the birth of Confucius. Many Qilin statues guard tombs and gates. In the Ming and Qing dynasties, it appears in Mandarin squares as an insignia of high military rank. What almost no one knows is that in 1414, an African giraffe arrived at the Ming court. The Yongle emperor celebrated it as a Qilin, a sign of favorable heavens. It is said that this creature does not step on the grass so as not to harm life. It breathes auspicious clouds, not fire. It is benevolence in beast form. If you encounter the Qilin figure, you begin to recognize messages of ethics and merit on temple doors, coats of arms, and brands. But where there is virtue, there is temptation. Here comes the 9-tailed fox. Sweet eyes, deep magic. Huli Jing is a fox spirit, known for its shape-shifting ability and ambiguous nature, which can be benevolent or malevolent. The creature is the Chinese version of the 9-tailed fox spirit, which also appears in other Asian folklores, such as Japanese kitsune and Korean kumiho. Tales depict foxes who love, protect, or deceive, mirroring human virtue. In the famous 16th-century Chinese novel, Fengxian Yanyi, The Creation of the Gods, the figure of Daji is intertwined with mythological elements. She is portrayed as a 9-tailed fox spirit who, at the behest of the goddess Nua, invaded the body of the real Daji to corrupt King Zhou and bring about the downfall of the Shang dynasty. At shrines to the fox goddess, they pray for protection. Talismans and peach wood are used to ward off shapeshifters. The number of tails indicates her power and beauty, and legend also describes her as the creator of foot bandages used to disguise her own fox paws. While some spirits seduce, others merely frighten and pounce. Enter the Jiangshi. The leaping dead, fear lingers. Jiangshi is the rigid, reanimated corpse, a dead person who moves by leaping and stealing qi, their vital energy. They may have greenish-white skin due to fungus, long hair, and growing nails. The legend is believed to have originated from a funerary practice in imperial China, in which priests reanimated bodies to transport them long distances, making them leap home. Fu talismans, bells, mirrors, glutinous rice, and peach wood are used to repel these creatures, tools of Taoist rituals. Hong Kong cinema has established the image with leaps, outstretched arms, and mandarin hats. Mr. Vampire, 1985, became a model for horror comedy that perfectly characterizes this creature. If you're wondering why it leaps, it's because of the stiffness of its body. And it's said the swinging of bodies tied to sticks resembled a leap. The legend of the Jiangshi has become popular in films, literature, and video games, especially in Hong Kong and throughout East Asia. Films from the 1970s and 1980s blended horror elements with comedy and martial arts, creating a distinct genre that revived the myth for modern audiences. After fear comes protection, and even fortune. Pixiu is next. Binds fortune, bites misfortune. Pixiu is a wealth guardian in feng shui, a creature that attracts money and protects the home or business. According to legend, the Pixiu angered the Jade Emperor by overeating and dirtying his palace. As punishment, the emperor beat its rear end, accidentally sealing its backside. This incident, which initially seemed unfortunate, ended up being considered a blessing. The Pixiu began to attract and devour gold, silver, and jewels, but could not excrete them, making it a guardian of wealth that only eats, not loses. What almost no one knows is that folklore says it has no anus. It only enters wealth. Small detail, big effect. That's why it doesn't get rid of money. The creature is a symbol of prosperity, luck, and abundance. Its image is often used in statues, jewelry such as bracelets and rings, and other feng shui accessories to attract wealth and good luck. Besides attracting wealth, the Pixiu is believed to ward off negative energies, evil spirits, and protect against bad luck, especially during unlucky years in the Chinese zodiac. When you understand feng shui trends, prosperity marketing, and organize your front door with intention, you can become a very prosperous person. But before the modern fortune craze, there were monsters in ritual bronzes. Taotie is next. A face that devours the gaze. The Taotie is an ancient Chinese mythological creature and artistic motif found on bronze artifacts from the Shang and Zhou dynasties, often depicted as an ogre or monster mask with an associated lightning bolt pattern, Lei Wen. Workshops in Anyang, Henan, and the Shanxi and Henan regions cast pieces using clay molds, a technology that allowed for rich, detailed relief. The Taotie motif is characteristic of ritual bronze vessels, dings, from the Shang and Zhou dynasties, 1st century BC. Some associate Taotie with the gluttonous monster of the four evils, a metaphor for greed. Others see it as an amulet that scares away spirits. The spirals, Leiwen, create depth and make the face appear and disappear depending on the light. In museums or games, you recognize ritual roots behind a fierce design. And since light and noise ward off monsters, the next one explains red and New Year's fireworks. Nian. Fear has a color. Nian is the name of a mythological beast that attacked villages at the beginning of spring and is the origin of many Chinese New Year traditions, such as the use of the color red, lanterns, fireworks, and loud noises to scare it away. It is believed that the beast feared these three things, and upon discovering this, the villagers began using them to scare Nian away, who never returned. The victory over Nian is celebrated annually during the Spring Festival, also known as Chinese New Year, giving rise to several traditions. The Chinese New Year celebration itself is called Guo Nian, a phrase meaning to pass Nian, or to overcome Nian, in reference to the victory over the mythical beast. Lion dances, fireworks, and red inaugurate the 15 days until the Lantern Festival. Red decorations, red banners, and lanterns are hung on doors and windows to ward off bad luck and celebrate victory over the monster. Nian retreats, the harvest arrives, and the sky remains with its wingless ruler.
Glass has grammar, and Jackie writes with their body. You enter the mall as if stepping into a temple of lamps. The world turns white, then shatters. The descent down the light pole isn't a cutting trick. It's faith in the wide shot. Every collision with the window becomes a comma, every jump an exclamation point. Here, the modern language of action is born. Legible impact, breathing humor, danger that doesn't hide. While Hollywood protected the myth with invisible stunt doubles and fast editing, Hong Kong exposed the hero and slowed the gaze. On one side, polished spectacle. On the other, tactile veracity. You feel gravity pulling. Hear the sea of glass as a chorus. Mid-1980s, the police filmed as urban acrobatics. Buses, shopping malls, streetlights. Architecture becomes a weapon and a soundtrack. Jackie fuses physical comedy and choreographed brutality, inaugurating a pattern that everyone copied. The masked scene was recorded with multiple cameras because there was only one chance. The heat from the lamps and friction could fail, and the hands would burn anyway. If glass became a language, what was the bridge that brought this Hong Kong language to the world?